So it's a Saturday and I'm back making monsters in the kitchen. Following how well the croissant come out of the oven, I thought I'd stick with a pastry theme and go after the nation's heart and drop in a big old sausage roll. Now, puff pastry is quite similar to the pastry that we did make with the croissant, so fortunately I've got a tiny bit of experience here. It is a big old butter block encased in dough to get some layers to create that puff. Obviously, first of all, we do start with an astronomical 1,050 grams, so just over a kilo of unsalted British butter. We put that in with 100 grams of flour just to keep it all steady to create the block. Bang that in the fridge to chill and then quickly move on to the dough because obviously the video is running away without me. Learning from our mistakes, we do remember our sieve and sift 1.8 kilograms of strong white bread flour into a bowl, add 36 grams of table salt, and then it's just water and butter for the liquid. So it is 900 milliliters of water, which I've decided to do sort of in sections just so I don't get a big old pond on my counter. And then 320 grams of melted and cooled butter, which I actually did that step this time. Then create a shaggy dough inside the bowl and bang it on a floured surface just to give it a small kneading. You don't want to go too crazy. Flour up the rolling pin and roll it out into a big old square. Then the usual trick with pastry, you want to find a tray, pop it on that, baking paper, cling film, bang it in the fridge to chill. This time around we do have some bits and bobs to be getting on with whilst everything's chilling in the fridge. So grab yourself 2 small red onions, de-skin them, dice them, melt some butter in a frying pan, and once the butter's all melted down, just bung them in. Now we are just swishing these around on a very low heat. You don't want to brown them at all, just get them translucent. When they're done, put them in a bowl and leave them to chill because they need to cool thoroughly before you put them in the sausage meat. Back to the dough, roll it out to put the butter in, and yeah, very similar trick to the croissant here. You put the butter block down, encase it with the pastry by folding it over like an envelope, press down on it because naturally the butter is quite hard, give it a quick roll and fold it into thirds. Then as per usual, what we're going to do is find a tray, grab some baking paper, wrap it in that, have a little fight with the cling film whilst you're trying to wrap it, and as per usual, pop it in the fridge to chill. Then we move on to the apple part of the sage and apple sausage meat filling for the sausage roll. Now this bit is quite easy, I mean fairly messy, but it is quite easy. Just grab 3 eating apples. The recipe that I'm supersizing right now does specify not to use cooking apples, so I chose 3 fairly humble royal galas. We de-skin, core, quarter and grate the apples before giving them a big squeeze, get most of the moisture out, and pop them in a bowl ready for the sausage meat. It is a bit of a shame about the wasted juice, if I'm honest. I didn't quite realise how much would come out. But onto the meat log now. So we've got 100 grams of 20% fat pork mince with our 3 grated humble royal galas, our now cooled diced red onions, 2 eggs, 90 grams of breadcrumbs, 4 fairly hefty teaspoons of dried sage, some salt and pepper, and a quick mix before we bang that onto some baking paper, make a good log shape, wrap it up, put it in the fridge to chill. Now obviously it is back to pastry time. We have to roll it out into a big old rectangle and fold it into thirds 3 more times before we can do anything with it. It's exactly the same as the croissant. 4 seems to be the magic number for amount of layers plus the structural integrity of the pastry itself. Now some of you may be thinking, God, that's a lot of pastry for the amount of sausage roll log that you've made, and those people would be absolutely bang on the money. Half of this is gonna go forward to next week's video. Look at me being smart, making 2 in one day, getting ahead of myself. So, spoiler alert, but next week there is another puff pastry monster for you to watch me create. But back to the task in hand, let's flatten this fella out and get our apple and sage sausage meat inside. Using egg wash as a bit of food glue here, it's just beaten eggs and milk. I then pull the, lid over, give it a solid trim down all 3 sides, Squish the long side down with a fork to give it that sort of bohemian bakery sort of style. Put it into baking paper, wrap it up in some cling film and put that to chill for at least half an hour before we sees the oven. And speaking of oven, you want to preheat that to sort of a high temperature. So when he does come out, it is just prepping him for the oven, which is getting the trusty spoon out because I still don't have a pastry brush. Giving him an egg wash, which is just egg and milk. A light scoring over the top and then a sprinkle of Mountain sea salt. Now after struggling to fit him into my standard household oven, he is a bit squished, but we do now have a fully cooked, steaming 2.7 kilogram sage and apple sausage roll. And that is 27 times the lunchtime power that a standard sausage roll is going to give you. And it can literally barely fit on my chopping board. But that is me done. Thank you for another watch and I'll see you next Saturday for another bake.